When I was 15, my half-brother was killed in an avalanche. The mountains can take even the most careful climbers. Since then, I've learned to read snow and avalanches like a doctor reads vital signs, at first to keep my partners and me alive as a professional ski mountaineer, then to understand risk more deeply, and now to apply that risk management to confront the biggest, fastest moving danger of them all, the climate crisis. And what the forecast keeps missing is our most overlooked safety system isn't a new technology, it's women's leadership. Because when mothers, daughters, and aunties take the helm, forests rebound, emissions fall, and families save money. I like to think of it as auntie intelligence. You know, women with nieces and nephews, and any woman who leads with an ethic of care for future generations. Auntie intelligence, the kind of AI that doesn't crash, collaborates under pressure, and somehow remembers to bring snacks. Across countries and sectors, women's leadership is associated with more clean energy investment, stronger land protection, and less fossil fuel funding. I've witnessed it firsthand, from Himalayan icefalls to the halls of Congress. Here's what's at stake if we don't take action. In my home state of Utah, the pollution that heats our planet and chokes our air raises miscarriage risk by over 15%. And it's not just Utah. During heat waves, calls to domestic violence hotlines spike. Climate change is already pushing millions of women and girls into poverty, and when disasters hit, the burden of care falls mainly on them. But when women lead, the planet heals. The people closest to the pain are closest to the solutions. Let me show you what that looks like around the world. Nepal. 30 years ago, many hills and forests were stripped bare due to timber harvesting. The local women in those villages, who did most of the firewood gathering and knew the forest like a close friend, saw the shortage coming. So they stepped in and took leadership of the community forest committees. And it worked. Today, forest cover in Nepal has rebounded by nearly 20%. It's one of the fastest comebacks anywhere on Earth. Peru. In 2019, rural land boards were required to include at least 30% women. Maribel Najarro showed up with a baby in her arms and became treasurer. Under her leadership and the leadership of other women, the village began protecting water sources and sharing grazing lands more fairly. Crops grew along with family incomes, because if you can balance a baby and a budget, you could probably balance a watershed. United States Interior Secretary Deb Haaland restored protections for national monuments, accelerated tribal-led conservation, and fast-tracked clean energy. Globally, when more women are elected in parliament, you see more clean energy investment and less money for fossil fuels. Women tend to plan long-term, manage risk collaboratively, and center community and future generations. When you elevate women, disasters are mitigated and the planet heals. In my own experience in the mountains, I've seen firsthand how mixed gender teams make fewer fatal errors. Different perspectives check each other's blind spots, keeping the team safer. After years of training, my partner and I set our sights on climbing Mount Everest. Now, less than 10% of the climbers who summit the world's highest peaks are women. Less than 1% of mountain guides are female, even though nearly half of skiers are women. I wanted to do more than reach the summit. I wanted to use the expedition to elevate women's leadership. Because it's not enough just to have women participate, we need more women reaching the highest levels. We launched Climb for Equality to close the visibility gap in high-altitude mountaineering. We brought on Carla Perez as our mountain guide, the first South American woman to summit Everest without oxygen. Online, thousands of people joined us as we showed women what they could do and men how to support it. But my time in the mountains has taught me something else equally important. The climate crisis isn't a distant threat. It's here now, and it's loud. Snow that once fell as light Utah powder now comes as rain. Imagine pouring a glass of water over a bowl of shaved ice. That's what rain does to our snowpack. Skiers call that snow mashed potatoes, which are great for dinner, but terrible for turns. Across parts of the western United States, the average snowpack is down around 40% since the early 1980s. And even our Great Salt Lake is drying up before our eyes, leaving behind a toxic dust that threatens millions of residents. When snow disappears, so do paychecks. Think about wildfires and floods. Homeowners have seen insurance premiums jump 24% in just the last 3 years, squeezing family budgets. If we ignore the warning signs, it will impact much more than our wallets. In Texas in June of 2025, 4 months worth of rain fell in just hours, wiping out entire communities. The stakes are high, but there's hope. Every data set points in the same direction. When you elevate women, climate solutions follow. From Indigenous women and women of color, I learned the truth. How we treat people is how we treat the planet. We extract their labor, ignore the warning signs, and send a cleanup bill. Our current system allows companies to extract billions of dollars worth of minerals from public lands every year and send taxpayers the cleanup bill. In Utah, a single bankrupt uranium operation left behind a nearly $1 trillion waste cleanup bill. Companies extracted, they profited, and they walked away, leaving taxpayers with the bill. And we do the same with women's unpaid caregiving. We rely on their unpaid labor without recognizing its value. We're placing too much stress on both the earth and on women. In many communities, women walk farther for clean water. They breathe smoke from cooking fires, and they stretch meals when crops fail. They're on the front line of the impact with much less power. And if nature is a mother, then we must elevate the status of women, girls, and mothers in society today. When half the talent pool is sidelined from participation, we all lose, especially the planet. I learned to read snow like a doctor reads vitals. And when we take our Earth's temperature, we see that our planet has a fever. But the vital we keep missing is who leads. If we change that variable, we can change the prognosis. Because solving the climate crisis isn't just about cleaner tech. We need a new kind of intelligence operating the system. Not artificial intelligence, but auntie-intelligence. The kind of leadership that reads the forecast, chooses a safe line, and gets the whole team home. So what can each of us do right now to unleash the power of auntie-intelligence? At home, share caregiver duties. Change the script when you talk to girls. Lead with strong, smart, decisive, capable, a natural leader, not their looks. At work, audit one team that you influence and set a date to achieve 40 to 50% women in decision-making seats. Budget childcare caregiver support for interviews, meetings, and events. When it's time to nominate a leader for a promotion, consider a woman. In politics, pick 2 women pro-climate candidates. Set a recurring donation, volunteer a few hours, or host a gathering to introduce them to your friends. And vote fully in all elections, including the primaries. That's where many climate champions are elected. Because when women lead, the climate heals, and we all get home safe.